Today is the official launch of our Lilacs in Bloom collection. Now we've got lots of things, and Teresa has been very busy creating all sorts of wonderfulness for us. So I invite you to come play with us. Now the reason why we did the Lilacs in Bloom is that we started with these two cutting dies. Obviously, this is lilacs. You see the base one, and then all of these flowers cut in just one pass. Then the other one is the stems and leaves. Now we made it two separate ones because you're going to be able to use the stems and leaves on a variety of other flowers that are going to come out this year. So that's the beginning. But we also have Lilacs in Bloom 12 by 12 papers, double-sided, 12 sheets of each and an 80-pound weight. We have the same design shrunk down to a 6 by 6. You're going to get 24 sheets in there. Both of them come with cutouts. Then there's also the Lilacs in Bloom cardstock, and you can see all of those purple and maroon colors, as that works so well. Then we have Lilacs in Bloom die cuts, and these are on a heavier weight, and they'll just pop right out. Some of them are blank so that you can stamp or use dazzles or computer journal, whatever you like. Others have greetings on them. And then finally, we have Lilacs in Bloom chipboard. So we've got just so many wonderful things. Now, before I get into these, I do want to share with you a scrapbook page, and you'll find this on the product page of the 12 by 12 papers. But because Teresa really focused on cards, I don't want to leave our scrapbookers out in the cold. But you can see that this just works nicely. The art is down below, and then you've got lots of room for as many photos if you like. And then this has been added with our 117 butterfly dazzles, so that did really nicely. And I love the caption kind of going at the top. Okay, let's get in to see what Teresa has done. And this is the first card. And we're going to get in closer so you can see this. And this is a style, I have to tell you, I don't recall seeing before that. Teresa's a clever woman. So it comes flat like this, but then when you get it, look, it's going to pop up just like that. Very fun. So this kind of reminds me of a bendy card right here, and that's kind of an inner card, and it's just really nice. So let me show you what she's done. She has, whoops, let me grab the patterns. Oh, here we go, because I've got these to share with you. As always, the directions are down below in the gallery, so you can just look down below. And this is going to have 3 pieces, and you can kind of see that you would have 3 pieces. The base of it is 6.5 by 5. You're going to score it right down the middle, so that's going to be at 3¼ inches from each side. And this is going to be our card base. Now, Teresa has done hers out of the Lilacs in Bloom cardstock. So you've got color on one side, and then it's white on the other side. Okay, so that's going to work just fine. Now, the middle section is this. Let me scoot that away so it's not in your way. This is 5¼ and 3¾ so it's slightly smaller. Now on each side she has placed the 1/2 inch wide extra sticky tape. That's to hold it in place. The score lines measuring from the left are 1/2 inch, 2 5/8, and then 4 3/4. So it's like a 1/2 inch on each side, and then doing it right down the middle. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to fold this, all of these in mountain folds, so that creates that peak, okay? Then these, after everything is decorated and so forth, is going to get attached into the center of your card. And it's going to have this score line, which is a valley fold, is going to line up with this score. So you'll just position that right in the center, okay? But that's going to be after everything is decorated. Now, there's one more, and that is this piece that goes on the front. This is 7.5, so it's our longest piece by 1.5. Going to do the same thing, put that 1/2 inch wide extra sticky tape and score, and these are also going to be in the mountain fold, so it creates like a mountain. This is going to attach at the edge, each edge of your card. kind of hard to do without actually attaching it. And let me show you on the finished card. So here we go. So that's all 3 pieces, and it just works very, very nicely. Now you can see that because she used the papers, oh, let me show you what paper she used. She used the 6x6 papers, and this is the one that she used that goes on the front. However, she turned it this way. So she's got it going right there, and there's a little piece left. Don't worry, I'll show you what to do with that. And then the rest of it's going to go on this side. She left it, cut those papers smaller so that the matting of the card creates that look, that matted look. So that works really nicely. Now, as I said, this top part is going right here. This part is left over, so she attached it to that band that goes along the front. Don't waste anything. That's what the woman does. Now, the dot that goes on the back, that is on the back of another paper. It's on this one, and that goes on that inside panel. So really easy to do. Now, I mentioned the die cuts earlier, and she used some die cuts on this. So this one is where she used the stamp. And you know what? Did I tell you about the stamp? I don't think I did. In fact, I'm looking for it on my table, and there it is. This also goes with the collection. I am so sorry. Floral Greetings. And we designed this so that it could go with any florals. And I have to tell you, from what I'm seeing of all the products we're going to get in, this is the year of florals. So this is just going to be very, very useful all year long. But you get a peek of it right here. So Sending Smiles is what she stamped right here. You do want to use like Stays On, something that will go on a slick surface, because this is a heavyweight board, so you want to use that. So she's just stamped it there. Doesn't that look nice? Now the Happy Birthday comes on the other sheet. And again, these are already die cut for you, so they're just going to pop out. And you can kind of see, even as I'm wiggling the sheet, is that you can see how they're just going to pop out. So, okay. Now, the other thing that she did is she used the chipboard. So this is a nice kind of blending of things. And here is the chipboard shape. I know you saw it in the beginning, but here it is really. And then she used the tri-blend markers, and this comes out of the Deep Shades set. It's got 24. You can buy them individually, and if you have other markers, that's perfectly fine. So what she did is she just colored on the chipboard. So the reason why the design team likes the tri-blend is you get 3 shades of the same color. So there is a light, and I'll just do it right here. And you can color this while it's still attached to the backing. That just gives you a nice area to hold on to. So you can go like this if you like, and then you can come back and maybe darken it. Oh, if you want to go on the outside to darken it, or if you want to go on the inside, or if you just want some of them to be darker and some to be lighter. I think that's kind of my favorite of doing that, especially with lilacs, is getting lots of different colors. So the colors are in the gallery. After that was done, she used one of the watermark ink pads. You can use the Wow, you can use the Versamark. We also carry one from Spectrum Noir. Just tap it on, and then use the clear embossing powder. And what I like about this look is you get the shine. There you go, you can see that. And I think it just gives more dimension. Now, obviously, she used a green also. So again, you can see those colors, and that just works nicely. Now, the other thing that she did is, I'm gonna scoot these over, is that she used, as I said, that other die cut here. And then, which you're gonna see on many of the cards today, is the purple ribbon set. So she simply, and this is, I know this is a small thing, but I like it. So she has threaded the ribbon through here and then tied it with a piece of jute or twine or embroidery floss, and it just knots that, and it's just really really, I think, a nice detail. So you can see that even when it's standing up, you can peek in and it looks very finished. So that's really nice. Okay, hooray for Teresa. Now let's get to our next one. And this is, she has called this, I think this is the Impossible card. So it's really kind of different. And what it does, it also comes flat, as you know, all the cards do, but it also, this kind of peeks up. So when it's sitting down or leaning against something, that little piece is going to go forward. And it's really kind of interesting. Again, I don't think I've seen it, and I love the fact that how this thing is created. So let me tell you that in the gallery, there is going to be some patterns. So this is the base pattern. So let me bring this out for you. And this happens with all of Teresa's, is that the straight lines are cut lines, okay? The broken lines are score lines. So you're going to end up with a piece like this. So you've got actually three cut lines and one score line. See how that is? 3 cut lines and a score line. This measures 5 3/4 inches square. Now the other thing that's in the paper pack, or the paper download that Teresa's done for us, is she's given you a paper pattern. Now notice that, and Teresa does this all the time, and I just love her for it, is that the paper pattern, you see how this is one paper? Well, that's the pattern. It kind of makes an L. On this side, there's another L. It's the same L because she used the cardstock from the paper pack. You've got that matching color that's going to work so nicely, okay? So this is the base that happens, but then what you do is you hold on to the lower left and you take the upper right and you twist. In fact, she's got some notes on here for me. Thank you, Teresa. Let me take those notes on. Don't look at it, okay? I'm going to do that again. Okay, hold on to the lower left, and I'm going to take the upper right, and I'm going to twist. And that is going to create a base. Now, this is going to get glued to a 6x6 piece of paper. But you see how that's popping up already? Yeah, it works very nicely, okay? So that becomes our base, and then you'll cut out the papers. Oh, let me show you the papers. This is also out of the 6x6 paper pack, and you can see that this piece is going to go on the left side, just right there. The one on the other side is on a different paper. It's this one, and it's on the back side of it. So you can see it's right there. What Teresa does so nicely, and she probably does it instinctively, is that this has a light background. This has there's more going on. It's got a medium and a darker tone, and it's just a nice play on things. Now, this piece in the middle, it's this side of the paper. In fact, I'll turn it that way so you can see it. Okay, so it's got those lilacs all over. So she's just used 2 pieces of paper to create this, okay? Now, so you've got this, you've got it attached, and this area is filling in with the background paper, the 6x6 piece of paper. So what else has she done? Well, let me show you. She has gone into that same chipboard. And with this, she's done something different. So that was our coloring, and then we covered it with the clear embossing powder. This time, she has used other embossing powders, but these are glittery. Okay, so she's got the silver tinsel. This is from Stampendous, and also the vintage plum. Now let me bring this over so you can really see it. There we go. Steve, I'm going to ask you to get in a little bit closer. And that usually takes just a second for that remote to work as he's pushing it frantically and not yelling. Good job. Now, can you see the purple and the silver? So I asked Teresa, so what did you do to create that? And what she said is that she first did the same thing. You know, you have to use the watermark ink pad, so you tap that on. And then she took the vintage plum and she sprinkled it. She said like you would lightly salt some food. Okay, so lightly salting. Then she tapped that off and put the excess back into her jar. Then she came back and did the same thing with the silver to fill in the areas that weren't colored. Now, then she tapped that off and then did the heat gun. The reason that she did it that way is that she doesn't like to mix her embossing powder. She says she always mixes too much, and then she's got something left. She's not sure, you know, when's the next time she's going to use it. So she prefers not to contaminate them with a different color, and I thought that was really worth noting. Now, for the leaf, she's also going to go in, and this time she used an ink pad. Now, this is the Pine Tree Harmony, which means it's a dye base, so it's a water base ink pad, and you can see that rich, dark green color on the leaves, on the Just For You, and on the leaves up here. Now, there's another little blossom. You can see it on the chipboard. In fact, there are several of them, and that was just done the same process that she did with her lilacs down here. So really, really nice. Now, to get that greeting, same thing as she did before, is that she used the stamp pad with Versamark onto one of the die cuts. So, I'm sorry, I said Versamark, I mean StazOn. So that same stamp set, the floral greetings, hope your birthday blooms with happiness. You can see everything kind of has a floral accent. Now, there's something else on this that I want to share with you, and that is called Wishing Bubbles. Now, this is from 49 & Market, and I think it's really just a really nice and different accent, and we're going to be using it all year. So these are down flat. In fact, the other week, Teresa used some of them kind of like a dewdrop on one of her flowers. So that's a nice example. This time, she's used some of them that are already on foam tape, that's how they come, and others that are down flat just to go with her lilacs. And what I thought was interesting is that she used a blue and a purple, and I thought that was really nice. There's some blue in the lilacs, and it's easy to go with the purples, but I thought it was nice to bring that blue in there. So that's a different card too, just really fun that it pops up for you. Okay, you ready for something else? So here is what Teresa has done, and I'm glad we're nice and close so you can see this. Look at that shimmer and that shine. Wow. Well, she has found a different way to do this. Now, this is using the cutting dies, so both of them, the Lilacs cutting die, and this is Cutting Edge, designed by Deanna Pennell. She's our Canadian friend, and the leaves and stems. So what Teresa did to get that shiny foil wonderful look is really clever. So she took the fab foil, she got it in the purple and also in the green. So I'm just going to demonstrate a little bit in the purple. And she took, now when you get the fab foil, it's like over a yard long. So it's over 36 inches. I think it's actually 39 inches because it's a meter. And so that's a ton. And this is a little over 4 inches wide. So this goes a long, long way, which I really appreciate. Now she needed to put the foil on something because it's too thin to really die cut and to handle. So you can do one of two things. Now, Elizabeth Crass has this monster of a double-sided adhesive, which is just wonderful, and that's what Teresa used. If you are new to this and you're not sure you want that much, we also have a double-sided adhesive. Now, if you've been with Paper Wishes a long time, you've seen this before. It has paper on each side of that adhesive. One side has the grid, which makes it really easy to cut. The other side is just yellow. So let me show you what Teresa did. In fact, I'm going to bring in a piece of the cardstock. I already tested it right there so that I could do this well for you. So she has a piece of the foil cut, and then she's got a piece of the double-sided adhesive. the double-sided adhesive needs to get down onto the cardstock. So you simply get a corner and pull it off. It really makes no difference which side comes off first. So there we go, and I'm just going to put this right down here. And you just want to press it down nice and smooth, and it's going to be really easy to do. Then you're going to use something, fingernail I hope, to pull off the top sheet. So you can see that that is glossy. Now I'm going to take the foil and press it down. Now you get one shot at this, folks, so you want to do it correctly. So start at one end and just lay it down. Okay, now if it buckles or anything, don't worry about it, because you're going to die cut it and it won't be seen. So there, I did that for you. I did a kind of not perfect. I'm not going to worry about it, because you can keep pressing it and you can see how that's going to go down. And then all you'll do is die cut it. Now I don't need to demonstrate that for you, because Teresa's done it for us right here. And you can see that she did both of the layers of the cutting die. And I love the fact that Deanna did this piece, because that gives you the base. And then she's given you 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 individual flowers that you can foam tape on top or do whatever you want. Really, really nice. Now Teresa did the exact same process with the green foil on the leaves and the stem, and that just works beautifully. And you know what? I got so carried away with that. Let's go back to the card and talk about that, okay? Now this started out as a blank card that was 5 by 6.5. Teresa cut it down to be 5 by 5. She did take the front of it and fold that back in half, because this is an easel card. Nice, huh? So that just gives extra shine. Now, what Teresa has done with this is she has used the papers, and let me make sure what I have here. Okay, she has used the 12 by 12 papers on this card to cut this piece for the front. She matted it on the Lilacs and Bloom cardstock, and she didn't do anything to the front of her card, because she had this so large that it really does cover that whole card, even when it is raised up like that. So again, all the measurements are down in the instructions in the gallery, okay? So she then put another of the Lilacs and Bloom paper, the dot that goes across. She matted it, because Teresa mats pretty much everything. And then she placed these, and I love how the leaves go on top of the flowers. I think that's really kind of nice. Now, for her more of her shine, she has gone with the purple border dazzles, and that is always kind of a shock when you see it, but when you see it in pieces, it just does such a nice job of finishing the cards. The other thing that's going to glare at you, but works so well, are the gold jewel dazzles. You can see that she's put them on each of the flowers, and that just works really, really nicely. Now, the It's Your Birthday is one of the die cuts. On the inside, she has used one of the papers. In fact, it is, let me see if I have it. I do have it here. Okay, let me show you. The front of the card was covered with this sheet, and on the back of it is this all-over pattern. Okay, so I think we saw that in the 6 by 6 size in our first card. Then on the inside, she's used this one, so you can see that border is going to go nicely on the top of her card. Even taking a 12 by 12 and cutting it down to go on this 5 by 5 card, you get a lovely design, and that works nicely. Now, this is another of the die cuts. I feel like I'm just repeating myself, and again, she has stamped the floral greetings. She's done the same thing with the border dazzles here and here, and the jewel dazzles right there. She's got more of the foiled lilacs on the corner, and just an absolutely gorgeous card. And I've No one has done this before with the foil and doing the die cutting, so I just love it, and I'm happy to share it with you. Okay, now you've seen Teresa doing this with the foiling. Let's see another look using that same cutting die in the Lilacs in Bloom. Here, she's got texture going on. She's used the suede papers. We're going to back up just a smidge. Thank you, Steve. You read my mind. Now, this is our regular 5 by 6.5 inch card, so that's the first step. And Teresa has put a 12 by 12 paper on the front of it, and let's see, I guess I don't have that one. Oh, I know, it's the one that we just used. Here we go. This is the same one that we just had, so there you go. Now we're going to put that there. But then she's also kind of created almost a trellis for the lilacs to kind of grow upon. And that trellis is made with something else from Deanna, who created the Lilacs in Bloom cutting dies. This is called a double diamond background. You can see it's 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, so it's really a nice size. And it creates this double diamond look. Now, Teresa die cut this out of the lilac cardstock because on the back side of it, each sheet, it's white. So you always have white cardstock. So she placed that down. Now, she also, this is a very typical Teresa thing. She, before this paper and this cutting die was glued to the card front, she put a strip of ribbon and tucked the edges and glued them underneath the paper and then attached it to the card. That way she doesn't have any rough edges. So that's just something she likes to do, and it gives just a very tidy look. Okay, let's get into the die cutting, because what I just really like that she did is she used the 3 different suede papers. And this is the mauve, this is violet, and this is forest. So you can see that when she did her die cutting, she simply ran this through a couple of times to create enough to make her lilac blossom. So that's really nice. I like the different shades. I think that's really nice. And that's also going to give it some texture. Now, this is going to knock your eyes off. You see the center of those? Well, believe it or not, she used fuchsia jewel dazzles. Yes, so that's what she's used right in the corners there. You could also use the purple jewel, whichever you like, but it just creates a lovely look. She added a bow on top and also a couple of the blossoms right there. Now, one thing about the leaves is that you do get them debossed, so that's really nice. It almost looks like there's a different color, like there's 2 colors of green, and that's really nice. Right here is one of the die cuts. On the inside of our card, there is the other side of the paper, and let me show this to you. This is the one that she used. So that's going to go right there. It's going to get matted. And then there's another spray of the suede lilacs, 1 blossom. And there again, we have another die cut, and that comes with the words on it. So just a very, very, very pretty card. And I like having the lilacs duplicated in the suede. I think that's really, so you've got a very shiny look and you've got a textured look. And you could do paper too, so lots of ideas. Now the last card is also going to use that double diamond background. So this time we're just going to use a piece of it, okay? So in this case, Teresa has taken, this is the 6 by 6 paper. So it's this piece that's going to go on the front, and it's going to get trimmed down. You know, the gallery will tell you the size. And she's going to glue that, mat it, and glue it to her card front. And then she's going to die cut this rectangle out, and she's going to use the 12 rectangles in scallop dies because that's just so useful. So you can do that, and when you die cut it, you're going to have your plate so that you're cutting down, and then you can just fold your card over and run it through your machine. You don't have to worry about having a giant machine in order to do this. Now, she then put her lattice that she die cut out of the cardstock on the white side. She put that on top, and then also did one of the scallops that goes on top of that. So that frame has a really nice layer to it. And then you don't see the edges on the inside. So that's nice. So just taking that paper, letting it sit there, kind of tack it down when you go to do the die cutting, lift up and put this double diamond background in place, and then glue it down, and then die cut out the scalloped rectangle to do a really nice finish. Okay, so that just really works nicely. Now, this is one of the cutouts from the 6x6 papers, and notice she just did a little bit of ribbon underneath it, so just a tad out of that same purple. Now, Teresa used, in fact, this is what the cutouts look like. So they're just, again, a scaled down version of what you get in the 12x12 papers. So the Hello Friend is right down there, and that's going to work nicely. Oh, I wanted to show you also, Teresa used 2 shades of the cardstock, and these are the 2. So kind of an orchid and a purple works nicely. Excuse me. The other thing she did was to add some butterflies. Now the silver jewel butterflies, you get 192 on this sheet, so that's not bad for $2. And so you can see that she tucked them into the lilacs, and then right here on the inside of her card, she also added another of the paper, and it happens to be on the back side of the cutouts right there. Did another of the frame, and what she did is she used just the top part of this. You can see where that's right there. So she's got some sky to let those butterflies fly. And then she also did something very clever, is that she's got the cutout right there, little butterfly, and that just works so nicely. So that's what our Teresa has done. Now Steve's backed away to give me lots of room so I can bring these back in and share with you. So the Lilacs in Bloom, the 12x12 papers, the coordinating cardstock with 12 sheets. We also have the die cuts, which is going to give you lots of art. We have the 6x6, which you can tell was very useful. In addition, we have the chipboard. We have the 2 cutting dies, and somewhere I have lost that stamp set, which is so gosh darn useful, but please remember what it looked like, and I still can't find it. Okay, well, you know what it was, and you know that it's part of it. So all of this is the Lilacs in Bloom. When you get so many things on the table, it's hard to keep track of them. I hope you enjoyed this. I think Teresa did a wonderful job. Very excited to bring this grouping of products all coordinating to you. And remember that those patterns and the directions are down below in the gallery, if I didn't say that already 1,400 times. If you are watching this on YouTube, please head over to paperwishes.com. Why? Because over on the right side of your screen, there's going to be a money saver. We might as well save money if you're going to get this collection. And we just really love having you here. And as always, you are the best part of Paper Wishes.